You think this is what's going on, but if you start getting feedback from your peers and every single one of them doesn't agree, you might be the one who's losing sight of what's going on. How is it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is Sean Barnes. I want to welcome you back to the Way of the Wolf. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to spend some time with a customer of mine here in Austin, and just this morning, I got off of a webinar where we were talking about similar challenges, and that is when senior leaders become increasingly unaware of what's going on in their environment and potentially lose sight of the damage that they are doing to the organization. And I think this is an inevitable result over time where you start building more and more teams, and as your role and power and influence increase in the organization, people end up becoming a little bit fearful of being honest and transparent with you. And yes, you can spend all sorts of time and energy in building trust and mutual respect and on and on and on. But there are going to be those people that are fearful because they have this mindset that you hold their livelihood in your hands. And while there is some truth and validity to that, what happens is those beneath you don't always share the entire truth. And so you operate in this bubble of information where you don't actually know what's going on. You're fed certain stories, but you don't spend the time to go down further into the organization to actually validate and verify that the information is correct. Usually, whenever I see this happen, the senior leader's response is, I don't have time. I don't have time. Well, if you start looking at the macro and how your organization is performing, and you start seeing this erosion of results over time, it begs the question, what do I not know? I'm making all of these decisions based on all the feedback that I'm being told, but we're still moving in the wrong direction. If you see this, whether you're a CEO, a president, a vice president, or a director, if you start to see this erosion of performance in your team, you are responsible for it. You are the leader, and you have to start digging deeper and figuring out what's actually going on. One more piece of guidance that I want to offer, and this is going to be to those that are kind of in the middle tiers of the organization. If you see a CEO doing this, you have a responsibility to step up and lead up the chain of command and help raise awareness of what's actually going on. And this is the feedback and tip that I want to leave with you. When you see this happening, I'm going to encourage you to start having conversations with all of your peers in the organization and soliciting feedback. This works on a few levels. First, it's a sanity check for you, just to make sure that you think this is what's going on, but if you start getting feedback from your peers and every single one of them doesn't agree, you might be the one who's losing sight of what's going on. Now, if they all agree and all of you are aligned, then you're onto something. And it's important for you to start trying to figure out, how do you communicate that up the chain of command? You probably don't want to do it in a group setting and say, hey, Mr. CEO, we all think this and you're wrong. They're immediately going to go on the defensive, and it probably isn't going to work out well for you. However, if when you have your update with your manager, director, or CEO, and you share this perspective and, hey, I'm seeing this, I think this is what's going on, but I've been talking with Jason and Sally, I think they might feel something similar. Have you had any conversations? What is your thoughts on this? And then when Jason and Sally have a similar conversation, is going to start to provoke thought in that senior leader. Now, they might still just ignore you, which is a problem for another day. But if you are in a leadership role, that means that you have a responsibility to more than just the people on your team. You have a responsibility to all of your peers and to the senior leadership. You need to focus on expanding your sphere of influence to move the organization in the right direction and make sure that you and your team and the entire business are doing what needs to be done. These crucial conversations are not fun to have, but it's what it means to be a leader. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for the show today. Quick episode. I need to hit the road, start getting back to town. Y'all have a good one.